Life of a door knocker can be tough. Having doors slammed in your face on a daily basis, people not exactly hearing what you have to say.
What?
Not the most friendly customer.
Not interested. Now get the off my property, and by the way, go get a real job.
The good news is, it doesn't have to be that way. Welcome to the Door-to-Door Mastery Podcast, where it's all about increasing your confidence, building rapport with your customers, and closing more sales. Here is your host, Paul Shakuri.
What is happening, my Door-to-Door Mastery fans? It's Paul Shakuri here with another episode, like I promised, of Door-to-Door Mastery. Let's get you closing more sales. Let's get not interested off the doorstep. Yeah, that was pretty funny. But let's get you on your way to hitting your goals and achieving them. Now, in this podcast, I'm going to talk about a couple corrections you can make to expand your success. I got a phone call today from a door knocker. And this is a person I've been privately coaching. And I want to actually get through the conversation with you guys as well, what happened, because I know a lot of you can really benefit from learning these little simple tweaks that you can do, because you will have these exact same issues that will arise, or if not has arisen already, and you're going to want to close more sales, but learn how to overcome these, okay? So I get the phone call, and I even get emails of the exact same thing over and over and over again. And even with me, anything I actually want to do, this exact same question always comes up. What is that question? Well, the question is simply, Paul, if you can give me just one piece of advice on what exactly I can do in order to help increase my sales today, well, what would that be? And what I noticed with anything you actually want to master, and this is, again, I talk about frequencies often, how many things I've attempted at doing over and over again at mastering. And what I found is there's no simple answer. There's no complete simple answer to what is the one thing that I can do today that can completely change everything tomorrow, or even change it today. There's nothing. And there's a lot of good news in this, by the way, because I'm going to teach you and educate you guys to have the proper, education that you need in order to move forward. Now, a lot of gurus that will be teaching whatever it is you want to learn will tell you that, just listen to my one-step formula to actually doing this that will get you your extreme success. How often has that failed you in the past? The truth is, if you want to master something and make a bunch of money, or, be very successful, even in life or whatever it is in general, whether it's parenting, a sport, door-to-door sales, whatever it is, you name it, there's certain step-by-step steps that you need to really follow and learn, and then implement, gain knowledge, education, get better and better. And what you'll notice is eventually, if you stick in with it and you follow, not too many people, okay, follow who you believe deep within your heart personally, is the best of breed of what it is you're trying to accomplish. For example, if you want to be the best, and as I always talk about, day trader, for example, you wouldn't want to follow me just quite yet. I'm not the best person at that. If you want to be the best boxer, okay, you want to go out there and you want to learn how to box, I would not be the best person to talk about that. Personally, I'd go look for Mike Tyson to try and learn from, whether he had his own podcast about this stuff, Holyfield, you name it. Floyd Mayweather, these are the people you'd want to shadow and actually see what basically it is that they're doing, or they can teach and educate you on, so that you can basically become the best. These people have not become the best overnight. And if you were to go up to Mike Tyson and say, yo, Iron Mike, hey, buddy, what's up, man? I want to become just like you. I want to knock people out in the ring. Tell me the one biggest, best piece of advice that you can give me in order for me to just give that, 1-2 combination so that, I can knock these people out. Sorry, ladies, if you're listening to this podcast, and which I know you are. There's a lot of ladies listening, but I'm just giving this advice, okay? We'll talk about Martha Stewart or whatever it is, females talk about. But anyways, Mike Tyson, let's talk about that. What would it be? He will tell you directly, because I've even watched a lot of what he's been teaching, or even his shows, and I've just been really learning from the best of again, in what I want to become good at. And every single person says there's not one thing that's true and genuine. There's not one thing you need to be doing in order to just be successful. In general, you need to have passion for what it is, your passion and drive for what it is you're trying to become good at. However, there are certain things you need to really understand before you can actually take off and master what you're doing. So, nobody outworked him, he always said. In the gym, he would be up in the morning. He'd be working out to the point where he'd literally throw up daily. He'd be hitting the bag more than any of his competitors would be. He'd be learning from his trainers, going back home and educating himself more and more. So there's a lot to it. But that's what success is all about. If you want to become successful knocking on doors, you have to educate yourself. You have to know why you're not as successful as you want to become. Learn what others who are successful in your industry are doing, and shadow, mirror, and figure out what it is that you can do. And that's what this podcast is all about. I'm going to keep bringing you vital information that can help take your sales to that next level. For those of you who want to jump in and really learn it all in detail, all in one place, which that's my premium content, and I have to do that. Obviously, that's how this show grows, as I always talk about. That's my membership area at doortodoormastery.com. I want to reach out and start off this podcast because we're going to be talking about, I have an effort level grid that I talk about in my door-to-door mastery program that I teach and educate people on all the time. And with this phone call I got, I'm going to speak a little bit about that. And then after that, hitting your actual goals. Can you actually hit your actual goals in life with door-to-door sales? Education on your product or offer. What level is it at? Do you need perhaps more? Is that what's hurting you? And then, yes, the ka-ching. I should find on my iPad here, because that's how I play the audio, the introduction and whatnot from an app. And I have custom people who actually create the audios for this. So, I'll give a shout out to them on later podcasts. For those of you who are using door knocking to actually get you to that next level and want to, have your own podcast. I can help you out with that too. I'm open. I really am. Now, my time is not that open, but I'm open, and I'm not just all about business, as you guys and gals who are actually messaging me notice. I talk like a normal human. Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm doing freaking awesome. I want you guys to understand how freaking excited I am for your level of success. Dude, I'm freaking excited about today. By the way, did you know that my hockey team, I'll just talk about these things. That's where we're at these days. If you're knocking on doors, you got to be yourself. And if somebody doesn't want to do business with you this day and age, it's because, you guys didn't quite click, or your product and or service is not something that they're truly looking at. They gave you time perhaps to actually pitch them on what you have to offer, but they didn't bite. That's so what? Move forward. Stop hurting yourself and, causing yourself damage mentally, saying, oh, this person didn't buy from me, or that person's not home, or this is all those negative thoughts and those excuses, that come in people's minds just to not knock on that next door. You're looking for that person. As I explained to the gentleman who I was coaching today, you're definitely looking for that next person who you can do business with. And when you find that person, that's where you're going with it. So we're going to talk about that. But first off, I want to give a shout out to Roger F. Thank you so much and congratulations. Welcome aboard the Door-to-Door Mastery Program, my membership area. Kiarian M. Thank you so much as well. And also Emilio F. Thank you once again, for really joining the membership area, you entrepreneurs who if you're a door-to-door salesperson, you're more than likely an entrepreneur. A door-to-door salesperson that's fighting to make it happen, who's fighting to make it work. I'm an entrepreneur by nature. That's why I do well at door-to-door sales. It's because I don't give up. Even if it didn't pay me, it's like, I'm not going to let this thing beat me up. I'm going to find a way to make it work. You guys have taken the initiative, the action to get there and actually make it happen. And every single time I see one of you guys, subscribe and take me up on my offer for unlimited access to the door-to-door membership area, thank you so much. It means so much to me. I can't tell you how much it means to me. It really helps the actual show grow. It gives me that much more excitement to actually come here and record these, because there are people who are actually wanting to get in on what I have to offer. And as such, I've actually made it extremely affordable, very fun, and extremely educational, that if you join the membership area, it should, so long as you implement it, it should literally pay for itself within a week or less, because you should close. And again, nothing's guaranteed, because I cannot control how much efforts and energy you put into knocking on doors and how much efforts and energy you use to actually implement my program. How much energy are you going to do? The membership area has a ton of videos that you watch over and over and over again. And the more you go out there and knock and come back and watch the videos, the extreme detailed videos, what happens is you start telling yourself, oh my gosh, I remember, Paul said this in that video. Now let me go back and watch that. That's what I was faced with today. I can't believe I didn't do this or that. I cannot believe I didn't do this or that. And then you start doing this and that and start seeing yourself progressing throughout the sale. Well, when that happens, what do you think your ability in the back of your mind is to pushing forward in a sale to actually closing one? It's inevitable. It's not rocket science. It really is not rocket science. It's just the mere fact that you're educating yourself and you're implementing someone who's already become successful at what you want to become successful at. When I started day trading, I was losing like almost every single trade. Now my wins, and I'm not getting cocky with it because, I really want to make it work. I'm still betting small amounts, $8,000 to $9,000 wagers, and I'm seeing results, more and more results now. So it's crazy. It's like, whereas before I would be, in a week, 1 win, 4 losses, 1 win, 7 losses. I'm now seeing about 7 wins and about 3 losses. They're still small gains, but I want you guys to understand that education that I've gotten, and me knowing that it's just a matter of time, just like I teach. Stick in there, be patient. It's just a matter of time till you start really seeing these gains. It's something I love. I enjoy it because why? Day trading, I personally can, and I'm going to relate back to door-to-door sales. Everything I talk about, I don't just ramble on about my life. It's not about me. This podcast is about you the listener. Okay, I'm in your ears, and I can only be so grateful to be in your ears that you give me this time. And I promise, as I really prove to you how much energy and efforts I bring to you, just nothing but motivation, that you can change your life in the door-to-door sales field and other in your entrepreneur career. Because all entrepreneurs, majority of entrepreneurs who are very successful, if you look back at these people, I had a blog post about it, they've done door-to-door sales at one point, business to business, if somewhat to say. But anyways, back to that, what I was getting to, with the whole day trading thing, it's a matter of time. It's something I love. And I ask myself, and this is going to get back into this podcast, is why do I love it so much? Why do I get such a high gratification from day trading? Well, because no other place that I personally believe in a short period of time can you make a bunch of money with your efforts and energy and time that you put into actually learning why you believe a stock is going to move. And there's so much volatility if you actually, do the right, and I'm not going to get too much into this, but, if you actually do your homework and your research right, to be in short term and out short term, that you can actually get in and get out. And then there's volatility, which means liquidity and volatility, which means people are trading so quick that you can make small gains. But if you put bigger wagers, because, a person like myself, I've actually made a bunch of money doing door-to-door sales, as you guys know, and now I can take that money and leverage it into different things, such as my own business, such as day trading, such as, importing goods and selling them. I could do all these things, but where did it start with? This is what I want you to understand. It started with me understanding why I wanted to do door-to-door sales, and I found a company and a job that can pay and sustain and hold up what I wanted to, achieve from door-to-door sales. So having said that, let's first of all have you guys understand, why have you chose to do door-to-door sales? Why? Why have you chose to do it? You need to understand that. And if you did choose to do door-to-door sales because of kind of what I briefly talked about, but in your own way, well, you should stick in with it and learn it. Where can you go? Let me hit this first.
DoorToDoorMastery.com, your source of motivation, information, and inspiration to closing more sales. Selling door to door, that's DoorToDoorMastery.com.
That's DoorToDoorMastery.com. It really is my website, my blog, one of them. Over there I teach you guys and educate a lot. There's a ton of information. Those who don't want to get into the membership area yet with all the detail that you still want to see if you can trust me or I know my stuff, I'm open to that. Go to the website. There's a lot of information there. There's a lot of free information that I give. Read through, dig through it. If you want to get a little bit more advanced, join the members area. It's so inexpensive. Anyways, aside from that, I'm just going to stop talking about that. I have to promote it. That's what the show's about. I don't want to bring other promoters on the show just quite yet. I want to push this because, door knocking is fun. It really is once you really learn how to master it. So let's talk about the effort level. I got the phone call and I told the gentleman, I said, hey, you know what my effort level grid is? And I'm going to explain to you what an effort level grid is to you guys. Okay, I have a personal effort level that I normally break down for sales reps from a level of 1 to 10, 1 being the least, 10 being the most. Understand this, hear this, play this over 1,000 times, drill it through your ears, drill it through your head. 1 being the least, 10 being the most. On a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis, on a month-to-month basis, on a year-to-year basis, you have to. This is me stuttering. Why? Because I want you to understand that this is very important. You need to rate yourself on a level of 1 to 10. How excited and how much energy and effort are you putting into your door-to-door knocking day? Today, for example. How do you feel? On a level from 1 to 10, if you're super excited and stoked, just like I am to do this podcast, I'm on a level of 10, if not 20 out of 10, to actually do this podcast and bring you this information. I'm not going to get into the details why, but I want to actually break that down as of for you. Why are you super excited to knock on that next door, to get out there and knock on that next door? How excited are you? On a level from 1 to 10, can you sense and hear the amount of energy of excitement that I am? Just because I have this excitement, you can have this exact same excitement. You don't have to be an extrovert, someone who's, out loud spoken and all that. You can have that inner fire that really burns within you that helps take you to that next door. How excited are you to know that behind one of these doors that you're going to be knocking on today, there should be a person who's going to listen to you, and there should be a ton of people who are going to listen to you and engage with you because of the teachings, the lessons, the knowledge you actually have about, what it is you're doing. How excited are you about that on a level from 1 to 10? So I got the phone call and, what is the one thing, Paul, that I can do to correct myself? Well, I have to break it down. I can't just tell you do this and that's it. So that was one of the things. I asked the level and I wrote down on a piece of paper. We had a nice, half an hour conversation. And you know what? He said he's at a level of 6 out of 10. Okay. He's at a level of 6 to 10. Then I said, how are your goals going with door-to-door sales? And he goes, what do you mean? I said, well, with door-to-door sales, can it actually can it accomplish your long-term goals? What do you want to do? And he started breaking down what he wants to do. And he said, absolutely, door-to-door sales really can, or else I wouldn't be doing it. Okay, that's perfect. That's another thing. Since because a lot of people in the back of their mind, they go, you know what? Even if I were to make, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, that's not exciting. I have no debt. I'm doing door-to-door sales, to make some money. Whereas the majority of people are doing it to pay off debt or pay off school or, and that's about it. Well, that's not what door-to-door sales is about. Door-to-door sales is for people who get excited about entrepreneurs who want to make a bunch of money for a purpose. And don't just throw it out there, a bunch of money, yay, make it rain. No, it's about making a bunch of money for a certain purpose, a certain reason. And what's that reason? Because if you don't have that, you're not going to be successful knocking on doors unless you're only in it for the challenge. And at that point, you kind of, got to be in it for only for a challenge if you're already wealthy and you haven't done door-to-door sales. That's the only thing. As a matter of fact, I actually tweeted and talked to Damon off Shark Tank. And he actually messaged me back, and I posted that on Twitter. You know, it was about him knocking on doors, crazy door-to-door sales, how I was able to get a hold of him. And he got off an airplane and actually closed two or three sales of his actual belts. He messaged me, and he said, you know, that's being that he just wanted to get out there and do it. You know, that's amazing. It's like, in what day and age are we in that we can actually communicate with millionaires, multimillionaires? This is the owner of FUBU. You know, that's crazy. He's on Shark Tank, national TV. But, you know, these are the different types of things that come up. Yes, door-to-door sales. People do that for a challenge. But again, if you're only doing it for a challenge, please make sure you have enough money in the bank account. Door-to-door sales is normally for people who want to accomplish and achieve goals in their life. Like, whereas they want to accomplish something else. This is just the next step. Or for those people who want to build a team or a company. And I teach you guys that too. That's where I'm building. The membership area is not complete about the company part, where you actually want, if you want to have your own company and extremely build a lot of salespeople under you. I'm still constructing that part of the members area. That's why those who get into the members area right now, you know, it's very inexpensive. I made it ridiculously inexpensive. It is going to go up the price, obviously, once the membership area is done. But personally, I don't believe that you guys should pay the full premium for everything if right now it's not completed. Even though when I do update these videos, you will have access, just so you know, you will have access to all the video updates for free and everything else I post in there, lifetime, okay? So to get there, you just go to doortodoormastery.com. On the right side, you'll actually see Learn to Sell. Click on that, and you can actually just get signed up right away over there. And yeah, that would obviously help out the whole process and the operation as well. Okay, back into this. Education on your actual product or offer. So the next thing I jumped into him, I said, is how much education, how much education do you know? And he's doing solar, just so you know. He's actually doing solar. And I said, how much education on a level from 1 to 10? Again, would you believe you know about the product? And he said a really high number, about an 8, which is extremely high. He doesn't have all the answers, which is fine, because you don't need to have all the answers in order to close a ton of sales selling door to door. However, the more information and knowledge you know, as long as you're not spewing all this information and all this information to your homeowners. It's just like me. I have all this information in the back of my mind. I can't just give it all to you in one podcast, or else you guys will be like, what do I do? It's just typical common sense. Even though you guys can hit that rewind button, you can always download this and keep watching and listening over and over and over again. You know, keep doing it. Keep it. That's how you're going to educate yourself. So, you know, on a level from 1 to 10, how much? So he was very high up there. And because he's been doing it already for 3 to 4 months, and he's asked a ton of questions, and, you know, he's really asked the manager, how does this work? What do I do? Yada, 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 and whatnot. Okay. So he's got a super good information. He's got a lot of information about this product and what he's offering. So I asked a couple questions just to kind of see if I were his customer, you know, like, okay, so how many panels can you put up on my roof right now? Well, I'd have to take a look at it, but based and judge on blah, blah, blah. He went through it. I'm like, okay, perfect. He knows that. How much is this going to cost me? Okay. He went through it. What's the efficiency of the panels? He went through it. So it's like, he knows his stuff. I want to just make sure, because a lot of people, you know, in the back of your minds, you're stubborn. Okay. You're stubborn and you're like, I don't know everything. All right. Let me ask you this question. I don't know. You know, it's not a joke. You're going out there in the heat and the cold. You're knocking on doors. Educate yourself, guys. Come on. Just getting a little fun here on the air, but, you know, educate yourself. The more you educate yourself, the better you're going to be at the doors. Don't give your information, every single thing about your product, to the homeowners, because that can actually affect you. But if they ask you the question, you will be the professional in their eyes if you can answer the questions. Always respond with, that is such a great question. As a matter of fact, a lot of your neighbors had that same question. I don't know if you know Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, and actually bring up a previous customer who you've closed and say, I don't know if you know Mr., Mrs. whatever, and say the name. You know, Fisher. I've actually had a customer last name Fisher. Mr. and Mrs. Fisher actually told me the exact same thing. They said, and then I go into it. And once they felt more comfortable with the way I responded, I'll explain to them, they decided that was something they wanted to do. However, I don't want to push you and pressure you. You don't want to push and pressure anybody to get a system. You want to educate them enough and help guide them. There's a difference, which I'm going to get into later on in other podcasts. Sell by guiding them to the actual solution as opposed to just pushing them to the answer. Okay, don't worry, don't get confused. This is a step-by-step process, and yada yada yada. Membership area. Not going to talk about that, but those are all there. Okay, so the education was there, and then finally I asked them about after this promo. We'll get into that.
Strategically designed with the door knocker in mind. Best door knocking tips and advice at doortodoormastery.com.
I'm going to keep pushing that door-to-door mastery back because you have to get there, okay? You have to get there. You got to read up, my blog posts, and you got to eventually, cave in. You have to, do the research, do the homework, which part of my homework to you is comment on my blogs. Comment on my blog post. I need you guys to comment on the blog post because I will respond personally. Yes, me. I'm not going to hire anybody to respond to what I, am teaching. So, post comments. I will respond to you over there, okay? And when you post a comment and a question of what you have, well, that's going to help other people. I got an email today, for me to not to mention a complete last name on the air because, this field, door-to-door sales, unfortunately, I hated this about the field. And I never run my company this way. Believe me, if one of my sales reps want to actually go to another company, by all means, I'm going to do nothing to try and retain them and hold them, except trying to educate them why I personally believe my company is best for them. And as such, I have a very low ratio of people wanting to leave. It's like, why is it that this industry is all about holding on to people? It's like, if people want to leave your organization, might that be a sign to you that you either don't have the right offer, you're not the right person for them, your company's not the right person for them, or plain and simple, they're the wrong person for your company. If you're doing the things right, it should be a breeding ground of where you don't have to worry. I never was worried about people leaving my company. And when you're like that, you have the wrong person. Let them go. Let them go cause problems for another company. And, this is for the owners and managers who are listening to this podcast. I've really had that whole mentality, and I've been able to sleep well at nighttime because of it. And honestly, when you have that mentality and you just focus on doing what's right and providing an opportunity for the right people, you're just going to breed nothing but success. You really will. Okay. But let's jump back into the bank account level. What does your bank account look like, Mr. So-and-so? What does your bank account look like? Do you have $10,000 saved up? No. Before you started, did you? No. Okay, from when you started knocking on doors compared to now, have you been able to pay the bills? Yes. And how much money do you have saved up in your account right now? Because this person is person X, and I'm not giving the name out, I will tell you exactly how much this person was able to save up. And again, this person has actually been knocking on doors, and he's been at a level, he said 6, and he's been able to save, put aside from bills and all that, close to $2,500 in savings. So $2,500 in savings, that's helped cushion his account, but he's at a level of 6. So where do you think this person needs, if there was one piece of advice that I can give this person, that he can correct in order to help take his knockability to that next level? What can he correct? Bing! That was me. It's a mental mindset. His mindset needs to go from a 6, and he's got to really work at boosting his excitement levels up to a level 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 out of 10. Yes, it's possible. In the back of your mind, you need to get excited to go out there every single day. How do you do that? I explain it in the membership area all the time. I'm going to explain it on this podcast all the time. I'm going to repeat because you'll never get it until I repeat it 1,000 times, but you need to know why you're doing door-to-door sales, and you got to start seeing this progression. And when you see that, you're going to start getting a lot more excited to going out there and knocking on these doors. Trust me, it's what everybody does. It's what I used to do. Okay? I got excited. When you get excited, it's just that much more easier to knock on that next door. You start putting money in the account, it gets that much more easier. hey, door-to-door sales should be fun. If it's not fun, it means you're not closing enough sales, and eventually you will if you do the right things. Stick with me. Stick with the Door-to-Door Mastery Program. Rate this podcast a 5 if you believe it's what you like. See you in the next episode.
You have been listening to the Door-to-Door Mastery Podcast. It is time for you to take your door knocking to the next level. Receive Paul's free video series teaching you how to master your opener pitch, understanding your features and benefits, and knowing when and how to close the sale. Be a successful door knocker. Be there now. DoorToDoorMastery.com. That's DoorToDoorMastery.com.
Salute, everyone.